Go.
All right. What is going on, everyone?
Right.
Welcome to another episode of Gentleman's Discourse. This is episode 7. It's your boy Josh,
Episode
and
7.
in the
It's your boy
studio,
Ryan,
not really studio, but anyways, with us again, Ryan. How's it going? What's up?
aka the
Yeah,
gentleman. I'm
the
good. I'm
gen.
good. How are you? How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. This week has been actually, it hasn't really started yet. This is at the moment of recording. This is Tuesday, and we're going fresh. But before we get into the actual podcast, here's a plug. So TikTok, we have a TikTok account
We have a
where
TikTok.
we post new content. A lot of
Mainly, I have a TikTok.
oh yeah, mainly you have a TikTok, and
Yeah,
you post like whiskey contents, watches, all that stuff,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Uh,
So
tell
basically,
the
basically TikTok.
yeah.
Oh yeah. So basically, TikTok is. I'll mainly use this platform to make shorter content, obviously, and more beginners level content,
Uh-huh.
hopefully to bring whiskey and watches, the art and craft of whiskey and watches to a younger generation, and hoping to introduce it to more people,
Yep,
starting with
man, you
the
gotta
easier
plug the
stuff.
handle, bro.
The handles at Gentleman Pursuits. Search
I
at
better
Gentleman.
start adding it in the description. You should be able to find it in the video description on YouTube. We are gonna
Wait,
add it.
sorry, it's at GTMPS. My bad. My bad. It's at
Anyways, link in
GTMPS.
description. Be sure to check
Link
it
in
out.
description.
Yep, we're branching out, and yeah, Ryan's thirst trapping on TikTok. So here we go.
First
Let's go.
trapping. Yeah, hopefully I wouldn't I wouldn't blunder into making TikTok dances in front of cameras.
Hit the
Or I
wall, dude.
wouldn't.
Hit the wall.
Oh, I will for sure hit the wall.
Alright.
But
Anyways,
how
with
are
that
you doing
said,
this week, man?
yeah, it's so far so good.
So far
Feeling
so good.
quite energetic. I don't know. It's usually
Okay.
this energy usually dies off pretty soon. So it's good while it lasts. So let's get this shit rolling. Yeah.
for me recently, this week has been, I'd say, extraordinary
Oh,
because
extraordinary.
yeah, a bit extraordinary because
A
I
bit.
met someone.
Okay.
I
Ooh.
met someone.
Okay.
Okay, what are you oohing at?
I mean, the way you said it, like, oh, I met someone. Like,
I
I
mean, yeah,
mean,
yeah, I met someone. I know. I made a new friend.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, I made a new friend, and and she's all the way across the pond. She's in UK.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, so I know this friend. I know this friend. So I know this person for a bit now,
Oh, how do you
and
guys meet? Online?
it's like through a friend,
Oh, through a friend.
a mutual friend. Yeah.
Ah, I
So
see.
we started talking, and
Wait, so you guys started talking online or like offline?
oh, she's in UK, so it's online, only online.
Oh yeah, because I was thinking like, oh, offline, but then she's in UK, and with the pandemic going on, I thought like, well, she must be traveling quite often. So
Oh no. She's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
all the way in UK, like in
Okay.
Sheffield or something like that. Yeah.
Uh huh.
So through talking to her, I learned about her life experiences and stuff like
Oh,
that.
already? Oh shit.
So yeah, I asked her what's you know what's her take on long distance relationship. Yeah.
Dude, you're
So
you're asking like really probing questions. You're gonna.
bro, I have a
Oh
podcast. Okay, I
God,
ask
bro.
questions. I ask real questions.
Just
Okay.
sit down with someone like, okay, how do you wipe your ass?
How do you wipe your ass? But
How
yeah,
do you
so
wipe your ass?
so I'm yeah. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
asked her
Please
that,
continue.
and she was like, she's okay with that because she has been in a long term, I mean, long distance relationship since
Uh
she
huh.
lives quite far away. She lives in like this really rural area in Sheffield, and her last relationship, her partner lives like 2 hours away from her. So
Yep.
technically, kind of long distance
Two
relationship, yeah,
hours. Oh
because she
yeah.
doesn't know how to drive. It's rural
Oh
area.
yeah. I have the same
Yeah,
long distance trip with my college as well. It's 2 hours away.
yeah.
Sometimes it gets like, yeah, we have like back and forth. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah. I get you. I get you. Man,
Yeah,
long
I
distance
try to
relations are
visit
tough.
her like as often as I can, but sometimes I just forget about it. Damn, this kind of sucks.
But
But
yeah,
yeah, don't
so
let me
she
stop
said,
you.
she said it's like it's all right. And then I was like, dang, I can't imagine. Like as we explored last few episodes,
Oh
right? We
yeah,
talked
yeah.
about relationship and stuff like that, and I was like, dang, how can because I can never imagine how one person can be happy in a long distance relationship, right? And then she
Uh huh.
started
Uh
talking
huh.
about how being happy doesn't have to be a physical thing, right?
Oh yeah.
And she's yeah, like I know it doesn't have to be a physical thing, but I was so like throughout my life, I was so hardwired to think that oh, if I don't have a certain thing, the happiness that I feel may not be as happy as I thought.
Uh
So
huh.
I like kind of conditioned myself to feel this lesser happiness, right? So I got this question for you
Oh
again.
yeah.
Question
Okay.
for you. What do you think? Not just in relationships, but what do you think is happiness in general in life, whatever?
I mean, for me, I guess I don't know. Happiness is just see. I don't think happiness is one thing that you can isolate, like take out of, like you can't describe it like what you had lunch today. That kind of thing. For
Oh
me,
yeah, yeah,
happiness
that's
is
true.
it's not really, I don't know, it's so elusive, so ambiguous. I try not to like force myself to think about it, because the more I think about whether I'm happy or not, I find oftentimes it leads me down this rabbit hole of just questioning like my whole entire existence. But I try to not
Just
think about
because.
it. Like I
Okay.
try to, instead of like trying to like, oh, am I happy, or like am I happy right now doing this, or am I happy in whatever state I'm in. I try to just keep going, just keep pushing, instead of like um stopping and asking, am I happy, because
Hmm.
I had past relationships with myself where I was like in this state. I was trying to fix stuff. I was trying to be really active. I was
Hmm.
trying to introduce a lot of change. Like, how people say like, oh wow, I don't. Is it a glow up? No, glow up. It's like where you become
Oh
better, like good looking or something. It's more like
no, no, no.
a,
It's also about mental
oh yeah,
health as
whatever.
well.
So I was trying to push myself to go out my comfort zone,
Oh.
like build stuff, establish stuff. I had that phase, but that phase
Uh-huh.
ended with a pretty nasty result.
Oh why?
By me just completely burning out and just
Oh
completely
dang.
like
Okay.
tired, because I'm technically forcing myself into being someone that I'm not, in the
Okay.
name of pursuit of happiness. So after that, my relationship with happiness became more like a passive thing. So I'm not trying to force anything. I'm just going with it. So there's that. But
Okay.
in general, I guess happiness, it's really subjective. It's your own interpretation. Whatever is happiness to you is happiness to you. Like there's no universal definition whatsoever, right?
But here's what trips me out though.
Yeah.
You you don't need you don't need to feel true unhappiness for you to be like for you to understand what being unhappy is, right?
Well, I guess it's like a
Okay,
thing
like
where like once you're there, like you're there,
Yeah, right. So yeah, what I'm saying is that in my mind, it's
Yeah.
only my opinion, of course. In my mind, you don't have to experience true unhappiness to know what being unhappy is. So you can just have minor inconvenience and like be like, ah, I hate that. That's what being unhappy is. That's what being annoyed is, right? But
So you get like
you
triggered.
never know, not triggered, but like you never know what it feels like to have to be truly happy. Because as you said, as you said just now,
Well, it
everyone.
depends on your definition, I guess.
Sorry, my computer just completely blacked out. Okay, as you said just now, happiness is subjective. So everyone has their own version of happiness that they have experienced. That's why they think they know that is their version of happiness. But do
I
you think
guess. I mean, I
there's
don't
like a
even know my
universe?
version of
There's
happiness.
like a there's like a universal limit or universal standard to what happiness actually is.
I mean, there is a universal base requirement, I'd
Oh, what's
say.
that?
I mean, like your uh necessities. So at least you have a roof over your head, I guess. But I've met people who don't meet that necessity but are still happy. So honestly, I I don't know. I can't really answer it because
It's true.
see the thing is I don't even know what I think it's happy. Like I don't even know what things that I'm gonna do that's gonna make me happier. Like I just do things because things needs to be done. That's it. Like
Dang, come on, man.
like
It doesn't have
I
to be
wake
that
up.
sad.
No, it's not sad. It's like I wake up, I do my thing, right? It's like
Yeah.
a responsibility. It's like so how I see it is if I view this or if I view my life or if I view this world from like an individual perspective. So it's just me, right? No one else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then let's say I'm all alone by myself, right? There's no one
Mm-hmm.
in this world. So I'm like the single person on earth, right? What am I going to
Mm-hmm.
do? I mean, I can spend my day just, sitting in one place doing nothing. That's not going to change much.
Mm-hmm.
I can spend my day doing everything. That's still not going to change much, right? But the thing is,
Okay.
I think both things are true. So I don't think that me doing my job is going to make much change or me doing the things I need to do. It's going to bring much change to the like big things in bigger picture. But it's just like a sense
Okay.
of responsibility. I feel good knowing that, hey, at least I've contributed to something today. And that puts me at ease and I'm content with it. Like
Okay. So okay.
knowing that I
So
at least
that
I did something that like I contributed to something, whether it's big or small, whether it's as trivial as let's say I don't know cleaning my room or just cleaning the house, or
hmm
to something like let's say I finished this certain projects or something like that. It
Do you
just gives
think
me a
being
sense of accomplishment, I guess. So
do
if
you
you
think
want to
being
narrow it down to
satisfied
happiness, I guess that's that. Yeah.
do you think being satisfied is the same as being happy?
Uh, I mean, I guess you get happiness from satisfaction, I
Yeah, that's true.
guess.
But I think
But
okay,
are
here's
they
the
I think they're separate though, right? Are they?
it's
Cuz
so
in my
vague I
head they're
can't
kind of
even answer that
separate.
question.
So I view satisfaction as instant, like a
Okay.
1 second thing. So like you have it and
Okay.
it's gone, right? Happiness is kind of like a state, I guess,
Okay.
because you can be
Before
sad but still get satisfaction, right?
yeah, I guess yeah, you can be sad and be like, yeah, that
Yeah,
will do.
you're sad, you get like I don't know, you just go like chomp chomp a whole bucket of ice cream, I mean, I guess you get some
You're satisfied.
satisfaction for a bit
That's true.
or 20 minutes. I don't know. But happiness for me, it seems like you're in a place where you're happy.
Do you think happiness can be manifested? Actually, wait, hold up. Before you answer that question, it's time for the fun fact of the week.
Oh, shit.
Forgot about that. Forgot about that. Fun fact of the week. Uh, Dan, we got to make a sound effect for this segment. Fun
Insert
fact of the
DJ
week.
air horns dot mp3.
Na, 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 na. Okay, fun fact of the week.
Okay.
Since we were talking about happiness, let's
Uh huh.
talk about some facts about being happy. First of all,
Facts.
happiness actually protects your heart. Love and
Okay.
happiness may not actually originate in the heart, but they're actually good for it. For example, in a 2005 paper found that happiness predicts lower rate and blood pressure.
Ooh, he be spitting
Ooh. So
facts
if you want to
though.
be happy, I mean, if you want to be healthy, you got to be happy.
I mean, yeah, that goes hand in hand. Yeah, I think a
Yeah.
lot of
So yeah.
body functions are affected by your emotions, right?
What if I'm just like, no, I have no emotion. Like I don't. I'm not sad. I'm
Well,
not
that's
happy.
not
I'm just like
possible,
chilling.
I guess. Is it? I mean,
I'm
clinically
just chilling.
speaking, I guess it's possible, but that's not the case for the majority of the population, I believe.
Do you know the animal capybara?
What? Excuse me?
The animal capybara.
No.
Okay, so no, I'm just because capybara was like considered to be one of the chillest animal ever. It can hang out with a crocodile. It can hang out with any kinds of animal, and he's
Oh yeah,
just
he
chilling
he
there.
he be chilling. Okay.
He be
I
chilling.
mean,
But yeah.
but it's interesting. Why would you ask? So back to your initial like prompt for this whole conversation. Why would you ask someone you just meet like something like that though? That's really
Oh, I
interesting.
mean, it's not okay.
So
Dang,
you guys would like just,
you're really trying to dig up my make me
hey,
speak the
you've
truth
done
here.
your probing. It is now I have my gloves on and I'm ready to probe. All right.
Okay, chill out, chill out, chill out. What? Okay, what? Why would I ask that question?
Yeah. I mean, to ask a
Well,
question, one must seek the
we have been
answer, right?
okay.
All
First of all, we've been
Confucius up in
talking
this
for a
bitch.
while.
Let's go.
First of all, we've been talking for a while,
Okay. Yeah.
and we're both comfortable talking about that because since we're like I think we're asking each other's like questions, like just deep questions, I guess,
You
right?
guys are just
And then it
like
got to a point we're
probing
like
each
just
other
hanging
out
out.
for like
We're just okay. Stop using the
possibility,
word
huh?
pro. Okay, we're just hanging out. But stop using the word pro. We're just hanging
Yeah,
out.
definitely just hanging out. I mean,
Okay,
well,
shut up.
if you don't want to use the word probe, it's just like you guys are premising.
No, we're just hanging out. God damn, because
I
we were talking about relationships,
Oh, okay.
like past relationships, and
And
then
the topic of happiness just came up.
no. We talked about relationship, and then a topic of long distance relationship came up, and then
Uh
she
huh.
was like, "Oh, being happy doesn't mean you have to be physical with someone," and
Well,
that's
then,
why.
yeah, I think that actually segues into a really interesting questions that whether, like, do you think we need a relationship to be happy? Like, does a relationship is like a necessity or does it contribute? Like, what's your take on that?
My the current Ryan mindset, yes.
No, I'm
I
I'm
think
I'm
it's a
not saying
yes.
like necessity. I'm just saying like your general take. Does it uh add to happiness? Is it necessary for happiness? Like in general, how do you
Yes,
view?
because there's a
Yeah,
certain level of intimacy with your partner that no one can you cannot achieve that with anyone else.
intimacy.
So yeah, so
Huh.
let's say no, not even like intimacy. Let's not look at you know being intimate for a second. Let's say
Right,
you're
right, right.
successful. Okay?
Yeah,
You're successful.
yeah.
You want to share that happiness because you worked so hard. You know, hoarding that all that stuff to your own may not feel the best. So sometimes you want to share, right? Okay, let's say you share with your family, you share with your friends. Your
Hmm.
friends are there for you, but they're not there for you like 24/7. Even they say they do. They have their own life,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah.
are in a relationship, let's say both of you kind of like agree, like subconsciously or underlyingly agreed to stay with each other, right?
Uh huh.
Then that person become like a staple in your life that you can always share happiness with, and that's like a different level of sharing happiness, in my opinion,
Uh huh.
right? So
So sharing is like a big factor of happiness in your books, or like companionship,
yeah,
sharing,
yeah,
that
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. What do you think? You
Well,
don't share. I
no. I don't know. I mean, I'm just curious. That's it. I'm not trying to like slap a diagnosis on on that. But
Oh, no, no, I'm asking you. I'm asking you. Do you think you need a relationship to be happy?
my answer is going to be no, because I have a different point of view from what you're saying.
Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Because okay, even let's say I follow down your narrative and say happiness. Let's say you share happiness with people, and then you in that process become more happy. Is that what you were saying? Like
I
through the
guess, yeah,
act of sharing or companionship, you
yeah,
sort of like it's like an
yeah,
echo chamber of happiness. So the happiness
yeah,
bounces off one another, right?
yeah, 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 yeah. When I look after
I
someone
mean,
and they're
the
happy,
way
they're like,
I
ah,
I
yeah.
see the relationship between, well, not well, relationship between relationships and happiness is that I think it's not really related, because you said like friends are and families are there for you, but they don't really they're not like 247, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the way I see your partner, technically speaking, I don't really like the idea of having a partner and having them to be there 247. It feels like I'm really dependent, and I don't feel like that's
Oh, then
really.
that's a whole different topic then,
Yeah, so I
right?
feel like even
Okay.
for my partner, they're still kind of in the same category as my friends, but a lot more closer, but in a sense
Oh,
that
okay.
it doesn't mean that, oh, she has to be there. If she's not, then oh, I'm all sad. So I think,
No, instead of thinking that she has to be there, my mindset is like, oh, I know that she will be there.
oh yeah, so like the
Yeah.
prospects of her being there generates happiness.
Yeah, so it's like
Ah, that's
I have
that's
like a
actually interesting.
go to safe place because now I like this person, I like this person, right? So maybe I let my guard down and I associate my happiness with her. So whenever I
So
think of something,
yeah, but that
right? So
that
whenever
does that
something makes me
has
happy,
okay, but that does have relationship with having something that's stable in your life. Because you said, so from what I can hear, right? You sort of expect, so she will be there, right? So that's like a certainty. So do you think
yeah.
stability gives happiness? So having
Okay, let me
something that
just
you can
boil it
just
down to a
depend
few
on.
keywords that I think will generate happiness for me.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Stability, in a sense, not okay. Stability in life would bring me happiness.
Yeah,
Stability in stability in general, actually. So stability and a sharing, and I think being able to talk to, like having someone that I can talk to whenever I want to.
companionship.
Companionship. Okay, yeah. So that's what I think what
Three
brings
main.
me
Okay.
like, yeah. What up, Doctor Josh?
I'm
What's
not
my
trying to like.
diagnosis here?
I'm not trying to. Like I said, I'm not really trying to diagnose. I'm just like asking, because obviously the topic we're getting at, it's really personal, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Your
That's true.
keywords might be totally different from mine. So
What are your
I
keywords?
mean, my keyword, I don't know.
Independence.
No, not really. I think happiness
Uh,
comes. I I think it's just responsibility.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
I
a
know
really interesting take
they
on it.
don't really link together, but as long as I know that I so I held up my end of the responsibility. So I did my thing, like I said a bit earlier. As long as I know that I did my part, I did my job, I did my responsibilities, then I guess I'm in like a happy state. But I don't really,
Okay,
to be honest, I don't really associate with the term happy that much, anyways. So I guess if you have to
so yeah,
quantify it,
I guess
then yeah,
your version of happiness is just nothing to worry about.
it's not really nothing to worry about. Still worry about a lot of things, but
Dang.
it's just I don't know. It's, I can't
Yeah,
even
it's
put it
tough,
to
man. It's
words,
tough. So yeah, it's
right?
tough. I understand. I totally understand that. But even though, like, you know how you and I has a completely different, not completely, like slightly different definition of happiness. But do you think happiness can be manifested?
I
Like, do you
mean,
can you just think happiness into existence?
there's gotta be certain level of self hypnosis you can do to like trick yourself into being happy. I guess, but
Okay.
I don't know because you can force something, and I don't like the idea of forcing anything. To be honest, I
Hmm.
think anything that's non-organic doesn't tend to last very long, and it doesn't tend to give a really good how do I say, it's not a really good stimulus, so called, right?
Okay,
So
that's
let's
fair.
say you get dopamine from, I don't know, doing drugs. Do drugs some do any drugs give you dopamine? I don't know. I'm not a,
I guess
I guess
Coke. I guess.
I don't
Wait,
know.
let me
So
just Google it
anyways,
real quick.
so if you take drugs and let's say I don't know, you're naturally generated hormones that make you happy. I mean, if you compare the two stimulus, obviously you have the answer right there. Like the more
Hmm.
natural the stimulus is, the better it is. So I guess the answer is yes. It can be manifested, but it depends on how you want to get there, right? Because you can always get there.
Because I think while it is partly true that you can think yourself into happiness, but I feel like, as you said, I totally agree with you that this kind of is forcing yourself to be happy. And I feel like the main key point to happiness is like addressing all the things that are not making you
Oh, I
happy
actually
and
have
then
this really good analogy.
accepting it. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
It's like breathing. So once you start paying attention to it, you're really conscious about it. But when you don't pay attention to it, it's still there. So that's my take on happiness. It's like that, right?
Oh, okay.
So whenever
Okay.
I say
Okay.
right
That's
now, you're gonna blink manually and you're gonna breathe
okay. Shut
manually
up. Shut
for the next
up.
5 seconds, all you're gonna think about is you're breathing and you're blinking, right? But then if I didn't say that, or let's say a minute later, you're probably not gonna think about it, but it's still happening or it's still going on. So happiness is
Oh,
sort of like
dang.
that.
This just reminded me of a really important question I want to ask.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Go on.
Yes. So a lot of people think that being happy is sometimes, so-called living in the moment, right? Because you don't want to regret in the future that you did not cherish whatever you have right now. So good way to feel happiness is to live in the moment.
Yeah, sure.
So, but in my opinion, is that what is living in the moment?
I don't know.
Like,
Usually has some bad negative connotations, right?
really, living in the moment has a bad connotation.
I mean, it's like the YOLO hashtag YOLO lifestyle, right?
I don't really
it's
think
deemed
so,
to
but
be impulsive. I don't know. I mean, I'm just like
no,
I'm just throwing things
okay,
out. I'm
yeah,
not really sure to be
but
honest.
but living in the moment, they mean like you want to feel everything in this current moment right now. You don't want to take anything for granted. That's
Feel
what they meant.
everything.
Yes, and that is, in my opinion, quite impossible.
How do you do that?
I don't know. Like, let's say you and I, okay, let's say you and
Yeah,
I are enjoying
sure.
making a podcast, right?
Yeah.
We're enjoying this, and I'll be
How
like,
do
hey
we
Josh, like,
how do we live in
let's
the
say,
moment right now?
right, like, yeah, I was like, Josh, hey, this may be our last podcast, so let's, take in the moment, live in the moment, and enjoy the rest of the making of this one episode, right? And then as I tell you that, that moment has passed already. So what you have installed for living
Okay,
in the
let's
so-called
say
living in the
let's
moment,
force ourselves to live in the moment right now, right? And
I
think
can't.
about what
I
what you would be doing. I probably can, cuz
I probably can't.
I don't know. I can't answer that question. And
And
it's
I
and it's
feel
so
like
vague.
the I feel like the only way to actually so-called live in the moment
Uh-huh.
is that if you are able to re-experience it in the future, then you would know that you've truly lived in the moment. Let's say the
Huh.
first time you said living in the moment is your way of, taking in information, taking in how to live in the moment and cherish every moment you have right now, taking it into your brain. And the next
Okay.
time I said, hey Josh, actually this was not our last episode. This upcoming episode was is our last. And then next time when we were making it, now I'm like relapsing the information I took in last episode. And now I actually know what it feels like. And that is what I think of when people say live in the moment, because I actually feel like living the moment is quite impossible unless you're able to re-experience it.
So like
And that is so, yeah. And sorry, in conclusion, when people ask how do you think how do you think people can what do you think people can do to be happy, and when people say just live in the moment, it's a really irresponsible thing to say.
yeah, kind of. I mean,
Yeah,
I would probably answer that by can you show me how? Like I
but
honestly
they'd be
don't
like,
know what
just
it means to live in the moment. And their answers probably be like,
just live
just
life.
like live in the moment. See, you have the words for it, right? The
But
semantics are
yeah,
there, but what it actually means probably can't be answered.
yeah. But
You know,
I by no means am I trying to make fun of people that actually know what living in the moment means. I do not know what
I
living in the
mean,
moment means. That's why.
I'm gonna be confident and just straight up say that I'm pretty sure nobody knows what actually living in the moment means. Like
Well, maybe there's a
it's not
valid.
a it's not a fact. It's not something scientific. It's not something you can Google it. So you can't fact check and cancel me. So I'm gonna say there's probably not a definite answer. It depends
No,
on
but
who you are.
I still, if anyone
Because for
listening to
someone
this, you
like
have
me,
like a
right? Yeah, of course. I'm not gonna say, "Oh, the moment right now you're enjoying is trash." No, go on, live your moment. Whatever your moment is, go live it. It's your life. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, right? But you see, when someone answers your question like, "Oh, how do I become happy?" When someone answers it with just live in the moment, it's up for personal interpretation, first off, right? And it's sort of like a filler answer, right? I feel like that answer has not much value. Just like you just said, it's kind of misleading, and it's kind of like a bad advice in some ways. Because for
yeah,
someone
yeah,
like me,
exactly.
when I think about living in the moment, I don't like that idea at all. I think that's a bad idea, right? Because living in the moment. So let's say if this is my last moment, right? So let's say by today, by the end of the day, I'm gonna die. So what I'm gonna do for the rest of the day, I'm probably gonna do some really impulsive, messed up shit. Just be like, you know what, I'm gonna die anyway, so who cares, right? And I think to myself,
Uh,
damn, that's kind of that's kind of wild. So probably not.
yeah, that's true.
But
Okay.
then again,
Another.
it's up for like your interpretation.
Yeah, I mean, this whole topic, happiness, really subjective. Anyway, right? We're just talking about how we feel about it.
But how do
And
you?
another
Why do you
thing
think it's like a sudden spike of discussion? Because we've been seeing a lot more
about
of
what?
these like topics. So people are even
Oh,
in memes,
because
right? Even in the memes.
because mental health problem is
Yeah, yeah,
being
yeah.
more and more talked about. Like I feel like, in a sense, that the amount of people that has the amount of people that have mental health problem, and obviously they increased, but also the amount of people that can openly talk about it increased as well. So more people are aware of this. So
Well, how
obviously,
about we think
if we're
from like another direction? Why do you think people are less happy these days? So we talked about how we think what
because of
happiness
social
is.
media.
Oh, oh,
Mm.
okay.
My first go to is social media,
Why? Tell us
because
why.
all you see on social media are how good this thing is, how good this thing is.
Uh huh.
No one ever posts about bad things, right? So even though that they only post about the good thing,
Mm,
you're subconsciously inclined to believe that this is what
that's true.
happiness
That's
look like,
true.
right? This
So
is
you
what I
think that
should be.
everyone else in the world is having like a better life than you are, and you're the only
Hmm.
one in the world who's suffering, right? Is that how you're
And
saying
yeah,
it?
and social media, yeah, and social media is basically like a battleground for people to see who's more happy, who's more successful,
Ah.
right? And this is bad for teenagers and kids
So do you
who
think
where
we like people in general should stay off it, or what should I do?
we should okay, staying off of it does not help. This is just like cyberbullying, right?
Okay,
Staying
so
off
first
the
off,
net does
disclaimer,
not.
I'm kind of off social media. I don't have it on my phone, like
Okay,
nothing.
that's great then.
No,
That's
it's
great
not
then.
because I'm
I
trying to
think
detox or anything. It's just I'm so bored. It's like seeing this. I don't want to sound
so
like an
numbing, yeah.
asshole and say like, oh, I don't care about what my friends are doing. But it's like they don't really post as well, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's
And
true.
it's like
But
I can spend my time looking at celebrities, but like, you know what? It doesn't even matter, right?
yeah,
So that's why
yeah,
I'm
it
off.
doesn't
But
even
yeah, go
matter.
on. Don't continue with your suggestion.
Oh, I was going to say, staying off of it doesn't help because
Yeah.
same thing goes to cyberbullying. Staying off the
Okay.
net doesn't mean you don't get bullied. Your
Well,
identity
I guess
still
it
get bullied, right?
does in some case.
In some way, yes, you don't see it, then
Yeah, yeah,
whatever,
yeah, yeah.
right?
It's like see no evil thing.
But network like online thing, even not just social media, maybe whatever, just the slightest communication tool you can get your hands on, you're prone to seeing all these stuff, right? So
Yeah.
in my opinion, staying off the net doesn't help, because one day you would have to, because especially when technology is so, like network, the internet is so important to us, like becoming more and more important to us. Staying off the net doesn't help.
I mean,
While
how do I say? Okay,
what?
I kind of want to build off your take.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
okay, let's just give my experience here. I'm obviously not off because I do still manage some stuff on social media, right?
Hmm.
I still do some stuff there, but it's what I mean by off is that as long as I'm done with the necessity stuff, let's say I have to contact someone, or let's say I have to do something over social media for work, for school, or even for or whatever reason, right? As long as I'm done with that, I'm just gonna like not check it
Okay.
because it's sort of addictive. Like
Yeah,
once you
like a constant
start,
source of dopamine.
it's not even dopamine. It's like because you because when you say when you look at social media, right, all the pictures, all the things you see are good things. You never see someone posting sad stuff, bad stuff. Like they
I mean,
photoshop
okay,
everything, they
to be
hand
honest,
select the best angles and pictures, right?
yeah, that's true. But more and more people are posting like
Well, yeah, I
real
guess.
news.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
But yeah, I was going to say how educating people that don't believe everything on the internet is the single hand like it's the his hands down the best piece of advice that I've ever received, and I will
Hmm.
give to someone that's like in the younger generation. Just don't believe everything. Like you can acknowledge it. Oh, that's a nice car.
Uh
Move
huh.
on. Just move
But
on.
how
You
does
don't have to
one
be.
how does one simply move on? Because
I
same
move
thing
on.
with the last episode where we talked about business advice. I think the same goes for any advice. So if you tell someone this one method to improve mental health or improve their current state of mind or be more happy, you can say it, but then it's just like the same thing with business gurus. They can tell you what to do. You can follow exactly, but the result's not going to happen. Like you
Yeah,
can't
but
expect people to do that. But how? What do you think is like the actual determined factor here?
because mostly on Instagram people are flaunting materialistic stuff, yeah.
No, I'm not
And while
saying
I
like
think
just on
yeah, yeah,
Instagram
but
or just in general.
okay. So okay, do you mean by when people say, "Oh, you should have a yacht to be happy"?
No,
How
for
are
example,
people
right?
supposed to
For example, I'm gonna like for example, when let's say you tell, let's say I'm unhappy, right? And then I heard this podcast and I heard you say, oh, you should not take everything on social media for like at a 100% value, right? You should just always
mm,
question it. But then let's say for someone um who's against that notion, who just might go and say that's not true, right? Because he himself
mm,
doesn't believe it, or he or she or they, whatever, right? As long as they don't believe that what you're saying is actually true, as long as they still believe that no, you're lying to me, even you have a better life than me, so you shouldn't be giving advice to me. Like it's sort of like a pity party here. So no, if you're in like a better place, you can give advice to someone who's like in a worse situation than you, which is kind of cancerous. This kind of perception, but I don't know. It
yeah.
sort of happens with people because I've seen
Dang.
people like that.
I guess
I've met
ultimate
people
I
who I've tried to help them, but then what they do is they constantly say, "Oh, you have everything so much better," instead of trying
so
to
they're
like,
just pessimistic.
yeah. So instead of trying
Well,
to find out how or find out what good things they have, the more time I spend helping someone like that, it's just it ends up having myself being dragged down as well because I start to see all the things he's going through and I feel bad about myself, and it,
oh
and and it
shit.
spirals into like a really
Yeah.
toxic parasitical relationship where he's leeching all the energy from me while I'm like not having like I'm affected. So of course I cut that person out of my life ASAP, right? But
Hmm.
then after I've seen like a few like topics or talks on this thing and how unhappy people tend to like drag others down, right? That happens, right?
Hmm.
So you see like people talk about cutting away toxic people in your life. That's what I'm referring to. But I don't want to like completely neglect people who are maybe unconsciously doing that themselves. So I think the real issue here isn't what people tell you or what you should be doing. The real issue is just I don't know, just
How
like
you receive it, something like
you see, this is change in mind.
that.
It's like the hardest change, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it all comes down to the change in mind. Like as long as you, the moment you start thinking or seeing things differently, you will have an effect. But the hard thing is, or the sad thing is, nobody can teach you or nobody can guide you through it. I mean, even the most informative instructions, or even going to seeking like psychologists, or these like
Psychiatrist,
psychiatrists, or even like
just a
therapists,
counselor,
right?
like a therapist. Yeah,
If you're still reluctant in changing, no one can help you. Like, it's kind of, I don't want to, this is not a message against therapists. Therapy works if you want it to work.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
That's true. That's so
I
true.
watched this streamer on Twitch. So he's a therapist, but he streams. Healthy gamer, right? So he talked with uh a lot of Twitch streamers, and he makes some content on like mental health and stuff. So I really appreciate one thing he says to his viewers is that when patients or people seek help from, like, let's say a therapist, right? He he needs, like, basically tells them this: help me help you. So it's
Mm.
like you have to help the therapist to help yourself. So you have to be willing to be helped in order to be helped. I know it sounds kind of
Yeah, yeah. I
weird,
totally get you.
and like it's like kind of counterintuitive, but it is, I think, at least according to my limited knowledge, that's how the majority of things work. Is that in order for you to change something, let's say in this case, in order for you to be happy, you gotta allow yourself to become happier, because you can be your own limiting factor, right?
Yeah,
At least
that
that's
is
how
that
I
is so
see it.
true.
So even if you
That is so true.
uninstall Facebook, delete your Instagram account, empty your contact list, you probably still feel miserable if you don't want to feel better. So
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying
so
is,
true.
in the end, so for the listeners who are still listening, this is not a, yeah, probably clicked off. It's
That's
like, man,
such.
this guy's talking some whack shit. Fuck him, whatever.
First to like average watch time 2 minutes.
Average watch time 2 minutes. Hey, if anyone is here, comment down. What should they comment? I don't know.
Comment down below the timestamp of you leaving the podcast. No, but
That's
yeah,
fine. But
but I
yeah,
really I totally agree with you because ultimately, just like how I tell people how motivation is not about how they give you, it's how about how you receive it.
yeah,
So ultimately, you have to, you know, make the first move to make yourself want to be happy, want to feel happiness,
yeah.
want to
And
do
be
the
in,
job
like,
in
at least
order.
put yourself in a situation when where you are allowed to be happy.
Yeah,
That's, I think, is
cut
that's really
toxic people
important.
off.
Yeah,
Cut
that for
toxic
sure.
people off. Be brave.
Be
It's
brave.
okay. Everything will never be that bad.
Yes.
That's yeah.
Even if it seems that bad, it's gonna, you can get over it, like a hundred
You can
percent.
get over it.
You can get
100%.
over it. So on that
I
note,
guarantee you.
that concludes this episode.
That concludes
Quite
this
a
episode indeed.
quite a random, like, discussion, because we went off in multiple different directions.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean, it's
sorry if
just
this is hard
discussion.
to follow,
Yeah.
but because happiness itself, it's sort of like a
A
hit or
really broad
miss,
topic.
broad, yeah, thing. But I mean, I think the message is clear enough that, like, honestly, you gotta help yourself. Like you have to be the main pull to pull yourself out of whatever situation, because you can do a lot more than what you think you can do. Like, I believe in everyone's ability, and you should also be the one who's like, you should be the one
Yes.
believing in yourself the most, right? So with that
Hmm.
said, thanks for listening. And
Thanks for
as
listening,
usual,
guys.
check out all the socials: Instagram, TikTok,
All the content.
YouTube,
Check out all the content, guys. Check
Spotify.
all the content.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if you
The
like this
website.
episode, leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Anything to add?
Yes, sir. Anything to add? Check out the last episode to the General Pursuits podcast. Again, once again, me and Gareth was exploring some entry level watches. Yeah, we picked some really, really radical picks. So yeah, if you go check out the episode, if you have any picks that you would like to share with us, comment, or just send me a DM, whatever. I would like to have a chat with you. Why not? So yeah, on that note, thank you guys for
Yeah.
listening once again.
Stay
And
safe,
I'll see
stay
you.
hydrated.
Stay safe,
Bye bye.
stay hydrated. Bye bye.